What's an ECN broker? Is it really a non-dealing desk broker?
Difficult question to say whether or not it is or it isn't. So an ECN broker is essentially a broker that puts the price that you get, so the price that you pay and the spread that you get is as a result of that broker going out there and looking at lots of different potential prices and getting essentially the best price. As to whether it is a direct access broker, again, that isn't an absolute, but in theory what it's doing is getting the best price for you, so it has the potential to be direct access.
So that's, I suppose, the advantage. What would be the disadvantage?
Disadvantage is, and again it could be broker specific, is you're waiting to get the best price. You might not necessarily be getting the best price. How do you know you're getting the best price? And I think that's also very relative, because there's a lot of talk out there, and I see it on forums and I see it with traders that I didn't get the best price on that trade. Well, what type of trade was it? It was a swing trade. What was your target? 150 points. So you missed out on a pip. So you're worrying about that. Shouldn't you be worrying about whether or not the strategy is consistent, whether you've tested it? So you're worrying about missing out on a pip when you're going for a target of 100. You're focusing what I call contributing factors as opposed to determining factors. So in weight loss, a contributing factor is potentially drinking 3 litres of water a day. That can aid weight loss. But if you eat 7,000 calories, it doesn't matter whether you're drinking 3 litres of water or not. So, but there is some science behind that. And I think you see that in trading as well. You see people getting too focused, putting 80% of their energy into something that is only going to have a small effect. Now, if you're day trading or scalping, that one pip can make all the difference. But that might not be the strategy that you're trading at that time. So it's something to put into context.
What is an STP broker? Do they really exist?
Basically, an STP, for people that don't know, it's a straight through broker. It's a broker where your order's going straight through to the market. So it's what's otherwise known as an A-book broker. So your order goes straight to the market. That broker will receive a small commission and will make money on the spread as a result of that. So it's considered the pure way. You're getting direct access into the interbank market, as opposed to what is a B-book broker, which is someone like a spread betting broker, where you're trading with that broker. You're not going directly to the market, and as a result, they're potentially taking the other side of your trade. Now, there's a lot of talk about if they're taking the other side of the trade, they're scamming you, how can you make money? I've been trading with a spread bettor, and I don't do all my trading, but I do a large chunk of my trading through a spread bettor, and I've never been impacted by this. So for me, straight STP brokers do exist. Recently, we had a certain broker claiming that they were, but they weren't. There was this whole big scandal in the States with FXEM. So again, unless you're going to do a huge amount of research, you'll never really know. So again, for me, is it an important factor? It becomes more important if you're day trading or scalping. Is it the determining factor to your success? No.
The majority of brokers that support the MetaTrader platform are nothing but pure bucket shops. You're dealing in a sandbox kind of environment called dealing desk, where the broker has full control over your position. You're winning money, he's losing it, and in this kind of environment, winners are not very welcome. Would you agree with this statement?
Again, it's talk about a politician's answer. I wouldn't necessarily agree or disagree. I think the important thing to understand is the majority of brokers will have what's called a MetaTrader platform or arm to their broker. So whether it's a spread bettor or a direct access broker, STP broker, you can choose to trade through the MetaTrader platform. So the idea is, I think what that statement is getting at is the fact that if everybody's so many people are using this boat, isn't it easy to see? If traders are winning, a broker's not going to want to, if he's taking the opposite side of the trade and the trader's winning, they're losing. 90% of traders lose money. So if the broker can see that and is taking the opposing side of the trade, well, then they're going to be making money. And statistically, the 10% that do make money are the ones with the bigger accounts. And often the ones with the bigger accounts, it's easier for them to access an STP broker. So as a result of that, they are getting direct access to the market. So the broker is then making the money on their commission, so they're going to look after those clients. So is it a sandbox environment? It has the potential, but it goes a little bit back to what I was saying before, is that every trader I've known that has the ability to be consistent, the times when the brokers mysteriously kicked the market up, or the spike up was bigger on the broker than on the interbank pricing. It's one trade. So if that trade lost the trader 0.5%, or that trader missed out on the profit of a 2% trade, and as a result ended up losing 0.5% or 1%, over 1,000 trades, that's not actually going to affect their consistency. So again, it's more of a contributing factor rather than a determinant.
So I was going to ask you, do brokers create fake spikes?
It's very difficult to say whether they do or they don't. It's a little bit like taking you take a Peugeot to a Peugeot mechanic. They're going to say that the Peugeot mechanic, is going to say, oh yeah, they're always breaking down. It's very difficult to say. In the position I'm in, especially when I'm working with other students, some students will say, it hit my target on the broker's price chart, but it didn't get me out of the trade, or it hit target on on the Forex chart from, say, E-signal, so they're looking at it directly through all of the interbank markets. It hit the target, but the broker one conveniently didn't. But again, what I would say is I would assess how often that's happening. If it's 1 in 50 trades or 1 in 100 trades, it's really not something to worry about too much.
But even if it's still happening, even if it is just that little, occasional trade, isn't that still naughty?
It is naughty. I would look at it again and assess, where do you want to be over the long haul? Would you rather have the broker being a little bit naughty, but 99.9% of the time your trade's doing what it's meant to and you're making money? I think again, it's that old idea of, is it wrong? Is it right? Are they being unscrupulous? I'd rather make money than make sure that this is never happening. So I had a scenario with. And actually the broker was really good, but when the Swiss franc was unpegged from the euro, I had a trade where, and this is where the broker came good for me. I had a trade, I was long US dollar Swiss franc, the trade plummeted, I had a 1% risk on the trade, and they got me out with a 4% slip. So on that day, I lost 4% more than I was supposed to. So I ended up with a 5% loss on a trade instead of a 1% risk. And I had traders within our community that had risked 2% on a similar trade that had lost 10%. Yeah, I know traders within our community, and they knew other traders that were with another broker that in a similar scenario lost 30% on the same 1%. So you imagine there will be clients that were in similar positions that if they'd risked 10 or 20 would actually owe the broker money at that time. So in that scenario, my broker, although they lost me 5%, and I know the story behind it, he actually came good for me and prevented me from losing a huge amount more. So you will get spikes now and again. You will get one-time events that happen 3 times in your life. This is why risk management is so important. So, for me, coming back from a 5% loss is not a huge one.